Hey guys, it's Gordon J. Wallace, sales representative with Remax Real Estate Center in Cambridge, Ontario. Just coming to you on our weekly Friday update here. So before we dive into the stats, let's just take a quick look here. Have a vacant lot coming up in the Puslinch Lake area on Monday, coming to MLS. It is about 50 feet wide by about 110, 115 feet deep. It's an irregular shaped lot, so it's about 110 on one side, about 115 on the other, and the frontage is about 51.5 feet onto the road there, so plenty of opportunity here for you to build your own residence, whether that be a summer home or an all year round residence. The original structure was about 800 square feet, was unfortunately lost to fire a couple years ago, so the family has decided now to just clear off the land and part ways instead of rebuilding themselves. I mention that because the original structure was about 800 square feet. It was a single-story residence, so you see some construction happening in this area, anywhere from a 1.5 to 2+ story structures down this roadway. So plenty of options for you there. Of course, before you decide to build anything, you need to get your plans approved by the township of Puslinch, but lots of activity happening in this corridor, so I don't see any reason why that would be an issue. Hopping on over to the stats for this week, we've got Brant County and Brantford. 256 active for sale properties in Brant County this week, up 7 from the week before. 14 conditional sales along with 51 firm sales in the last 7 days. So that is chugging along kind of steady Eddie as Brant County does. Only 20 listings that expired, suspended, or canceled in the last 7 days. And if you've been watching these updates for a couple of weeks now, I did make the decision to collapse these three categories into a single line item as we're not seeing them happen because of COVID as much. So I just collapsed them all down into a single category here. These are the three sort of changes to a listing that could occur when somebody decides to take it off the market for a non-sale. So Wellington County now, 412 active residential resale properties this weekend if you're shopping out in the Wellington County. That is up 15 from the weekend prior. 18 new today, 13 conditional sales, and 84 firm sales. So again, Wellington County as well, just chugging along there at a good pace. Waterloo region, where we see the lion's share of activity, 836 active properties on the market this weekend. That's a net increase of 57, 48 alone today. So definitely seeing quite a few pop up each and every day. 23 conditional sales in the last week, and we broke the 200 mark in firm sales with 218 properties going firm. That's a total of 241, and only 70 listings that expired or were suspended or canceled outright. Again, the end of the month, you're always going to see a higher than normal number of expired and canceled listings, just because that is a natural time to sort of end contracts, as everything has to be have an end date with it. So nothing too concerning there. We're going to hop over. I know that there's still a lot of areas that are more heavily impacted by COVID than others. I didn't want to talk about price a whole lot during the last 2 months because you just weren't sure if the stats coming out were true or not. What I mean by that is that if, let's say, everybody who was selling a home for $1 million or more, if they got particularly scared by having people in their house and not thinking they were going to get top dollar for their houses, and if they just all chose not to list their properties, which wasn't the case, but if it were, you would see the average sales price really drop, because you're not getting the expected top end of the market, for instance. And same thing, if the bottom end of the market, they were particularly scared about not being able to get a minimum dollar value for their house, they may have held off, and that would have artificially increased the average price. since you didn't have those ones on there. So now that things are looking like they have picked up substantially across the three markets, I did want to talk about average sales price. We saw a spike in the February and March months as activity was getting really hot, and there was speculation that it was going to be another really crazy year like we experienced a few years ago. Obviously, COVID happened, and that kind of leveled things off. We saw a bit of a dip in the average sales price during April because of that, but I think it was more just people keeping homes off the market and not so much true reflection of the value of homes. Okay, so you can see here that the month ending in May, we have median sales prices rising 6 and 8% in Brant County. In Wellington, the spread is 8 to 11%, and in Waterloo region, it's a little bit tighter at 10.5 to 11%. And I use the median when talking about price because median is you line up all the houses in a row and you pick the middle one and what does that one sell for. So it kind of allows the top and bottom to filter each other out and not become too heavily weighted in one area or the other. Average would be you add them all up and divide by how many you have. So it can be more impacted. It's more susceptible to impact based on if a higher than normal amount of higher low-end homes go on the market, if that makes sense. That being said, any questions about your specific area? Because again, during these updates, I try to make them as broad as possible, just to hopefully resonate with as many people as possible. If you do have any questions about your specific market, please feel free to reach out. We continue to go out for showings, still looking for a 3-bedroom home, somewhere between Waterloo and Guelph, and anywhere along sort of the top of Waterloo and Guelph would be ideal. For around the $550,000 to $600,000 price point range, as well looking in Cambridge, Kitchener, West Waterloo, and over in Stratford as well for a 2-bedroom home in sort of the $350,000-ish range. So if you've been thinking about putting any of those on the market, I might have a buyer for you, so feel free to reach out just to have a chat. And if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, no harm done. Again, it's Gordon J. Wallace, 226-218-0433. Hope to talk to you soon.